And welcome back to Versus Live. I am Ross Merriam. There's Todd Anderson. We are through one match today. We played Rakdos Goblin Menagerie against Teamer Tempo.
Never actually cast Goblin Menagerie in both of Gruesome Menagerie in both of the times we've played the Goblin based sacrifice deck. It's unfortunate because I think the card's really powerful.
Yeah. Gonna have to play it against a control deck so we got long games.
Yeah.
Cast card. But we are moving on, and we have two sort of updates to, I would say, older decks. So I am playing what we're calling Mono Red Burn. There are a healthy number of creatures with Fanatical Firebrand and G2 Lava Runner, Vigashino Pyromancer, and Goblin Chain Whirler, which sort of form the core of the Mono Red aggro deck.
Yep.
We have no Steamkins. Instead, playing more Burn, we've got Skewer the Critics, the new Sorcery Speed Lightning Bolt with Spectacle, and then
Light Up the Stage.
Light Up the Stage. There we go. The one that exile the top two cards of your deck, and you have until the end of your next turn to cast them.
I mean, basically, it's a red divination, right?
It's like the red Thoughtcast, right? You enable it by doing red things.
Right, and in a lot of ways, like it's really powerful because you just basically need to make sure that most of your deck does the same thing or a very similar thing, so that you never have a bad option when you choose to cast the cards from Light Up the Stage. If you fill your deck with kind of a few expensive cards and you hit one off of it, they're basically dead, or you're bottlenecked into playing these cards instead of something that's more efficient. So I really like this card in this really low to the ground, heavy burn spell based deck.
Yeah, when you're a very non-interactive burn deck, you sometimes struggle by not having by flooding a bit, and you don't have just enough total resources to deal 20. But you can't spend a lot of time drawing extra cards to ensure you have that critical mass, because if you spend all that time, all the time drawing cards, you're probably going to get raced. You won't have enough time to actually deploy the cards.
Right.
So being able to draw two for just one mana, as long as your opponent's lost life that turn, is a really efficient way to ensure that you have the volume of cards necessary to count to 20. And it's a card that notable Burn grinder John Whetstone has predicted will make its way into Modern Burn, along with Screw the Critics. He tweeted out a very interesting Rakdos Burn list for post-RNA
Bump
Modern.
of the Night?
Oh yeah, Bump of the Night was the only black card. The only 2-mana spell in the main deck was Searing Blaze. At Gut Shots was going real low. 17 lands, 18 lands.
Ooh, what about Light Up the Stage in your Is That Phoenix deck with your Gut Shots? Give you more reason to play a fourth Gut Shot, which I like.
I already went down to 2 Gut Shots, but yeah, maybe Light Up the Stage is good.
Well, that's why you got top 4 instead of the finals.
The mutagenic growth has put in some work, let me tell you.
It always does. No one can play around the one of mutagenic growth.
Rending Folly says can't be countered. I disagree.
Yeah. You know how many times I saved my Deceiver Exarch from a combust with a mutagenic growth? A lot.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that is the deck Ross is going to be playing. I am going a little more traditional, refined, if you will. I'm going for the Merfolk.
I don't think Merfolk is refined.
Well, if I was going to make a joke about the people who play Merfolk only play Merfolk, so that means that they're
snobby about it.
Yeah.
Well,
but no, I wasn't going to say that because that sounds mean. I was just going to say they're more refined intellectuals, real brain geniuses.
Anyone who follows me closely on social media will know that my opinion of Merfolk and Modern is very low.
Well, this ain't Modern. This is Standard.
So I was skeptical when Todd said he was playing Merfolk, but looking at the list, it seems pretty good.
Yeah, I have messed around with the mana base a little bit. Ross and I were kind of theorizing over it. Yesterday, I built all of my decks on a plane. Without access to the internet until I landed, and then I had to send them in. So apologies on a few last minute changes. But the mana base, we have trimmed a few islands for a few forests just so it can enable these Song of Freyleys, these 1-drop green creatures a little bit more easily.
We were 8-1 in favor of island. Now we're 5-4 in favor of island. So when Todd plays a second forest, don't go grabbing your pitchforks.
Anywho, so this deck based around kind of has like a mini +1/+1 counter theme with things like Song of Freyleys. There's a few Merfolk that have the cares if it gets a counter or cares if it already has a counter. One of which is Herald of Secret Streams, which all my creatures become unblockable. Works really well alongside Tumina, Tyrant of Voraska. His ability to put a counter on Benthic Biomancer also allows you to loot, which is pretty cool.
I'm a fan of Benthic Biomancer, so that's one of the cards that really excites me about this deck, the card that might push it over the top. None of the tribes in Ixalan really made their way into Standard. We saw a little bit of vampires, but not so much out of the other three. And getting another 1-drop when Merfolk really wants to be aggressive and low to the ground, and a 1-drop that plays really well with a lot of the other synergy pieces and gives you some card selection, I think is perfect for the deck. So I'm kind of excited to see this, dare I say.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just get to the match and see what happens. I think
I lost match 1, so I got to be on the play. So I hope this works.
Sure.
Sweet.
It only works that way when you lose the first match. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
But, you know.
Yeah.
For those of you keeping track at home, that's another one on the chalkboard for me.
Okay. Well, my hand is great, so I'm going to keep.
This matchup in particular is going to be about whether or not I can force Ross to start throwing burn spells at my creatures. The first time he targets my creature with a burn spell, I think that means I'm winning. But if he, I'm good. If he doesn't have to do that, then I'm going to be in trouble.
Got a 1/2.
So Ross, Perp ATL wants to know why no Steamkin.
I wanted to try the burn spells. I think that Steamkin is a card that has a high ceiling but a very low floor. And the deck has a critical mass of good burn effects and cheap creatures that contribute to that. And it's just really difficult to interact at that point. There's not a lot of life gain in standard. I guess the Jeskai decks could start playing Revitalize. But just about raising the consistency, raising the floor of these red decks. All about doing the same thing every single game. Got a Pyromancer, brings you to 17.
Okay.
What you got
deck.
now?
Okay, deck. Benthic Biomancer.
Sure.
Put a +1/+1 counter on it and loot.
That's pretty good.
Let's get Benthic Biomancer up on the screen because this is the important one. I'm going to discard this Song of Freyalise. I don't think that this is a matchup where this card is going to do much of anything. And, I mean, I can play next turn, maybe, and do a couple of things, maybe. But if Ross just goes like kill, attack for 4, you know, that's pretty bad news for me. So I'm just going to loot away this. But in other matchups, I think this card could be great.
Todd, Iron Mellow, why no Merfolk Branchwalkers or Jadelight Rangers?
So this one is just like leaning a little heavier blue, so it can play Merfolk Trickster. But there are certainly ways you can build the deck with Branchwalker and Jadelight, you know, and it just depends on your flavor. With Benthic Biomancer, it becomes harder to play double green on 3. But you know, it can go either way. You just have to figure out which color you want to lean towards. And I chose blue this time.
I have a kind of an interesting turn here, but I'm not exactly sure what I want to be doing. I really just want to play this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play the Chain Whirler, deal with that Jade Bearer, bring Todd to 16, and now I'm fine trading the Lava Runner with the Pyromancer. I value a little bit more because it has 2 power, so I'll just attack with this.
I'm just going to try to protect my life total here, I think. The Chain Whirler is rather annoying. Name Merfolk since all my relevant things are Merfolk. Go. 4 toughness here is a pretty big deal. Since I have a backup, there's a good chance I actually just block Chain Whirler if he attacks, because if he ends up throwing a burn spell at Kamina, I'm pretty happy about it.
Attack. Firebrand this thing down.
That was the one I didn't want him to have, because it only costs 1 mana. Shock is pretty similar.
Another Chain Whirler would have been good too.
That's true. Alright, Merfolk again. Alright, I'm going to play Deeproot Elite.
Yep.
I'm going to say go. I'm going to upkeep. I'm going to play Merfolk Trickster.
Sure.
I'm going to target this with the ability, and then I'm going to target this with Trickster. Put a counter on target Merfolk. It's not just it. So tap this. And I want to do this now just because I want to prevent the damage anyway, but I also just like want to make sure I get my Deeproot Elite up to a 2/2 so it doesn't die to a Chain Whirler Firebrand.
Attack for 2. This is the lightning with Deeproot Elite.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
I could have put a +1/+1 counter on the Trickster, but most of Ross's burn spells do 3 damage, so. I'm kind of out of stuff. I'm at 16.
Yep.
Alright, I'll go to 14. I'm going to play both these. Your turn.
We got a 3/5 and a 2/2.
Wait, what life was I at? What'd you have
were
at,
at
Rob?
16 before
I was
talking.
16.
You're at 14 now.
14. Okay. You're still at 20?
Yep. Pass the turn.
Yeah, the thing is, my deck works a lot better when I flood. I can't do much of anything right now except attack.
Unless you draw Merfolk, then you start laying back and drawing extra cards.
Yeah, I didn't, so go.
That's good.
Yeah. I think I want to play defense rather than offense here. If he attacks with this, he has to have 2 things to kill both of them, so.
Okay, take 2.
Yeah, 12.
I haven't drawn a lot of burn spells, but...
Go.
Okay. Still no Merfolk, that's good. Unless he drew a Trickster and is like waiting, but... I think you would have upkeep the Trickster here, so... Attack.
If he has a burn spell, he can kill this no matter what. This is actually... gives him the option to kill this instead with the first strike, but I don't know if there's a lot I can do about it.
I think the Kumena is more valuable.
Only costs 1, but...
Yeah, because I have Wizard. So we'll let first strike resolve and then deal 3.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake.
Pass. Kumena just being a 2/4 is really big in this matchup. I go to 17.
Yeah, go.
This might turn into a race.
Yep.
Vargosaurus Rex was asking, do you think that
Fine.
Experimental Frenzy and Theater of Hoarders can synergize well enough together?
Experimental Frenzy and Theater. I think that there's a good chance that there's a mono red-ish deck that's splashing for some amount of Theater 4 main and plays rough like 6 virtual copies of Frenzy. I don't know if it's 4 Frenzy, 2 Theater, or 3 and 3, or even 4 Theater, 2 Frenzy. But I know that some amount of Frenzy is better. Some number than 4, more than 4 is better than only 4.
I think I pass here because I'm losing this race to like any creature, really.
Merfolk go.
Okay, that's a good draw. Light up the stage.
Yep. Lane.
Okay, so that's actually really good. So we get to play this land, play Chain Whirler,
Yeah,
deal.
I go to 11.
Yeah.
My creature have a damage on them,
And
so
that means they.
attack with both.
Yeah, well, let's attack both.
I'll go to 6.
Pass the turn. Jesus.
Alright, so if I go attack for 8, he draws a land, I block. Take 5 down to 1. If he doesn't attack, yeah, I'm gonna hit you for 8.
Okay, dead to any non-land.
Go. That's fine. Yes! We're doing it!
How many lands can I draw?
Let's go.
I have 21
You
in
wanna
my
attack?
deck.
You want to attack?
Oh, I guess I have a Flave of Cal with that. So if, I can't attack. Pass, but it's hard for Todd to do much attacking. Even that's not particularly good.
Go. Yeah, I mean, let's see if I attack with. Yeah, it's whatever.
Just need to draw burn spells. Pass. I'm a burn deck. I'm drawing 2 Wizards Lightnings.
The problem is Todd isn't going to knock the top of your deck now.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens if I attack with everybody? I think you block in such a way. You double block this.
Yeah.
And then these are 3/3s, and you can double block 1, and you take
4
8 down to 1.
Oh, I take 7, right?
Yes, because this will die. Okay, go.
No, well, I take even less. Yeah, I take 7. Go.
Look, I just want to point out you're only 1 land above me, and you play to light up the stage. So, go. That was not a bad draw. Not a bad draw. So I can tap 3 Merfolk right now and draw a card. I think that's bad. So I'm just going to say go.
I think I need to light up the stage into a kill right now. So.
I agree. No! Land! Okay.
That's 1.
Yep.
That's 2.
Whatever, dude.
Upstairs.
Whatever, dude. Just
good thing I have...
whine, moan. I guess
Runner.
I guess if I draw light up the stage into double burst, I win. I can't draw so many lands. Dude, I have just so many lands. I think I played that game horrifically. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to do any of the blocking and attacking that I did, but whatever. Give me some questions, Rob.
Pet Squirtle asked, what do you think will be the best week 1 aggro deck?
Definitely not the one Ross is playing because it's got too many lands in it. I don't know. It'll probably be mono red. I'm curious to see if there's like a History of Benalia deck that's really good that plays any of the new cards. I mean, I think like getting access to stuff like Tithe Taker could make it a little stronger versus Control, which I think it was having a little trouble with early on. I really like Tithe Taker in general, so I'm a pretty big fan and hope that it's good.
Yeah, I would lean mono red as well. I think people are going to be very inclined to try 3-color decks, and they're going to have unrefined mana bases and be shocking themselves a lot. So the reach from the red aggro decks is really important,
right?
In that kind of tournament. But as we go on, like it'll shift. But for week 1, I'd go with red.
Viper wants to see you use this deck as your Multi-Zero deck.
Multi-Zero would burn. See how that goes. Yeah.
Look, we're just gonna save that Multi-Zero game for when Ross is playing like a Legacy deck or something, because it's just not good entertainment. And as much as Ross wants if he's gonna end up mulling to 3 or something already, he'll probably gamble it. But the odds of him winning on a Multi-Zero are basically non-existent. Okay, well, are we sideboarding on camera or are we going to break?
No, I'm thinking about it. We should probably just go to break. Right,
okay.
Rob?
All right.
Okay, we're gonna go to break for a couple minutes and come back. I got some things to think about.
All right, we're here for sideboarding, and in this instance, I think Ross is going to be boarding in, as you can see, some number of removal spells. Lava Coil is a pretty popular sideboard card out of these mono-red-ish decks, and while Ross has more total, burn spells that go to the dome in Game 1, Game 2 is a different story. Very likely going to try to, use Experimental Frenzy. Maybe has more Theater of Horrors. We already saw stuff like that in Game 1. So, or at least we saw Black Mana for it, right? So,
no. 21 Mountains.
Oh, I'm just an idiot. Okay. We were talking about as like potential splashes, I
guess.
This
is red deck purity over here.
The card Spell Pierce, a very good sideboard in this matchup. I know that the one we listed only had 2, but it was supposed to be 3, and we had a 14-card sideboard. But we're going to have a third Spell Pierce here, and 2 dive downs come in for the 3 Song of Freyalise and both of the 4-drop creatures. These are just sweet one-ofs that we can find with the split card Incubation Incongruity. But not only do they cost 4, they're vulnerable to all of Ross's burn spells except for Shock. And their abilities rely on me having a bunch of creatures in play, which is going to be really hard to do. This one says whenever I deal damage to you with a Merfolk, which I'm going to be playing a lot of defense, I draw a card. And this one says all my creatures with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked, which is good with like Song of Freyalise and Kumina, but I'm cutting these, so this just gets worse. We're going to be playing basically the beatdown role here using Spell Pierce and Dive Down and trying to leverage them into tempo early on and put pressure on Ross, and I just want to lower my curve overall.
Yep. On my side, I am becoming more of a control deck, so we got Lava Coils to help deal with Kumena or big creatures with the Lords and +1/+1 counter effects. Got Electrostatic Fields to play some defense and also start getting in damage. This is going to be a great sideboard card in any aggressive matchup. Cannonades are going to be able to clear away all the small creatures in one go, so I don't have to waste burn spells on them after Lava Coil deals with the big one. And then Frenzy will ensure I have more card advantage going along. I am cutting some of my main deck card advantage in Risk Factor and the Flame of Keld. But both of these cards provide like a single burst of card advantage that is meant to finish the game once you have them sort of low on life. If I'm playing a value game and killing a lot of Todd's creatures, it makes it a lot easier to just take the 4 damage off of Risk Factor, and that's not really a spell I want to be casting in the post-board games. And then Flame of Keld is similar. Like I'm not going to be setting up to use the 3rd chapter on it as often. So I'll trim this and rely on Frenzies going along. And then Gitu Lava Runner is the creature that has the hardest time dealing damage. Firebrand's going to be a guaranteed point. So this is the first creature that goes, and because it's a wizard, I decided that Wizard's Lightning is my worst burn spell, so I cut that one to make room for the Coils. So big changes on
Plus,
my
we
side.
just want to make sure we can see if Skewer the Critics is actually good.
Yeah. Plus, I didn't have enough lands in Game 1, so I needed a 22nd.
Yeah.
So now we're all set.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whenever you add a land, you always draw fewer, right? Like that's just how the universe works.
Yeah, it's the Moto Shuffler, but IRL.
Right. All right. So hit me with a question.
Contagion 826. Why no Hadana's Climb in the Merfolk deck?
Honestly, it might actually be okay. So 4 of my colored sources of mana are unclaimed territory, and I'm using it kind of like a dual land, but only for creatures. So my non-creature spells I want to keep to an absolute minimum or have them be really easy to cast. Incubation, for example, is either green or blue, so I get to cast that as my on either forest or island. If I have weird costed things that are both colors, it's just going to be harder if those are non-creatures. So
I do think Climb is a consideration in like the Song of Freyalise spot.
yeah, it might actually just be better than Song of Freyalise, and I'm more than happy to let that one go. I just think Song of Freyalise can give you some bursts of mana, and then also provides that. But this deck doesn't really put that mana to great use. So, all right, hit me.
Tank Engine asked, is it a good idea to evolve the current mono blue deck into a Simic or Azorius tempo build?
I mean, there's... you go ahead.
I don't think so, because Tempest Djinn is just so important to that deck functioning, and I don't think any color you add gives you a suitable replacement for that card.
Yeah, I mean, Tempest Djinn is the plan B, right? Plan A is one of your creatures, Curious Obsession. When you don't draw that or things go south, having Tempest Djinn is just the next best thing, and there's no real replacement for that in another color. Like, I tried Enigma Drake before, but like having red didn't really do anything for me, and like I've thought about playing white for Deputy of Detention. That just doesn't really seem like it doesn't have that same kick to it.
Yeah, Tempest Djinn's a really powerful card. Okay.
Yeah, and the downside is you have to be mono blue, but the mono blue decks have basically adapted to be mono blue, not the other way around. Like I would love to play Curious Obsession and a bunch of blue 1-drops in my like Teamer Tempo deck, right? And then just use like all these dive downs and spell pierces proactively with Curious Obsession. Man, that just sounds good. Maybe I'll just do that. But it makes Enigma Drake worse. You just have to find a better 3 for Tempest Djinn, and until someone does, like you're just never gonna play anything except mono blue. Long story short.
My hand's great again.
Sure. This hand is iffy, but I'm gonna keep.
You're on the play.
Oh yeah, I lost. Why did I feel like I won?
Oh.
Okay.
Incubation top 4?
Yep. Doesn't get a land, though.
You're looking at 5.
Oh, crap. This was the 5th one. I'll shuffle that. I'm sorry.
I'll
take Kumina. Let's go on the bottom. I'm guessing a random order because that's the new plays well on arena effect.
Yeah, awkward and paper, good in arena.
Yeah, go.
Mountain Pass.
Reprint Fetch Lands is asking, do you think Esper will be a better control deck than Jeskai?
No, absolutely not. I think Niv Mizzet's too strong.
A2.
Yeah, A2.
Pass.
Need to draw green mana.
Oh. Thought I was getting...
No, I just don't have anything. I need green mana. I kept Island this and a couple blue spells.
Oh, Incubation is 5 cards,
Right,
by the way.
I'm gonna...
Otis 5?
Oh, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
I thought it was 4.
Alright, I'm gonna let this attack happen.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna target this.
You're gonna... Yeah. I will shock this thing before blocks.
I'll spell pierce it.
Tilt.
I'll block here.
So you take...
Actually, hold on. I'm gonna dive down that instead, and then I'm gonna block here. And I take 1. I'm at 17.
I will pass the turn.
Dope.
Sinbred wants to know if you think Selesnya tokens will pick up a 3rd color in this new set.
18.
Selesnya tokens, I mean, they could. I think it's really just going to pick up Growth Chamber Guardian to go along with Venerated Luxodon. There have been a couple of versions that have already moved towards playing a Johnny as a 4-drop in the deck, and they were just like more actual creatures instead of stuff like Sapperling Migration.
Chamber, you go to 16?
Yeah.
Secure the command.
Right, I'll spell pierce it.
Tilt.
Yep.
Deal 1 of this thing.
Yep.
Pass. Well, this has gone really poorly. I just assumed Trickster wasn't there when he didn't have it on turn 2, but he was setting it up with a...
I drew it on.
I guess you could have just been setting it up with another spell. I know, wasn't great to play there. Anyway.
Actually, I'm gonna attack. I don't plan on blocking because the first strike damage is gonna kill it. So I'm gonna attack for 3 and go to
15.
Yeah, and I'm at 16 still.
Yep.
That
3/5 is really big. Attack for 3.
Yeah, 13.
Deal you 2.
Yep. 11.
Pass.
Alright. Deep Root Elite.
Yep.
Jade Bear. So, alright. Well, first of all, does this resolve? Because this one enters. Okay, so 2 triggers. Let's go 1 here and 1 here. I'm just going to try to play around another Chain Whirler as much as possible. I could put 1 here and then attack and then just tap these 3 to draw a card. But Chain Whirler would be so backbreaking. But if I attack with this, he's probably going to block and then shoot this down unless I do this. So let's do that. Attack for 4.
Take 4. I'm at 11. So 11 all.
Yep. Go. Yeah, Dive Down Spell Pierce seem like they're going to be really good in these like tempo-y.
Lava Coil, the Deep Root Elite.
I'll draw a card.
Yep.
Okay.
Attack for 5.
That's 6 and you're at 11?
Yep.
Okay.
Pass.
I could have just held up.
Play land and pass.
That's good news for me. Could have just held up and try to trade there, but
I probably wasn't supposed to play that land. I keep thinking about light up the stage, but here, like, getting him to think I have a burn spell might be relevant.
This is 10. That sucks. All right.
It's 9, right?
5.
That's
6, 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I attack with these. What kills me? Does anything kill me? 1 card kill me? I don't think so. So I can just walk here. Okay. Shoot a 2.
Yep.
Go. If he kills this and attacks, I'm at 1. If he has live the stage or frenzy into 2 things, could be in a lot of trouble. No, I guess. Wow, that was bad.
What?
It's okay. Like if you whatever's in your hand, if you just do this, I actually have to just block here, or else I go to 3 and I die to any burn spell. But I mean, depending on what your hand is, like you probably can't do that, but you can probably just attack with that, and then I have to chump if it's a 3-mana burn spell, and then I guess if I block here, the next time I attack with this, you kill one of these, block here, go to 1, and then I'm still not dead on the crackbacks.
I'll pass the turn.
Okay. Sorry. Alright, him passing the turn is...
I guess I was... Yeah, no, you can go.
Alright. I don't think he has a burn spell. So if he has any 3 damage burn spell, he's highly incentivized to attack with this, right? Because then the chain of events would be, I have to block here, or else I die to light up the stage, or not light up the stage, skewer the critics, light and strike, whatever. And so I think just the no attack signifies to me that he has nothing. So if I attack with these, he goes, here, first strike, take 2. I mean, I have a blocker to play at post-combat, so I think
Chat's reminding you to read Cometa, too.
I did not know that was the other ability on Kamina. Make it unblockable. Why didn't you say something? Don't let me just freaking embarrass myself for 5 minutes.
That's why I'm here.
Wow. Wow. I didn't even know that was an ability on it.
It's the first ability.
Right, but it's the one that never comes up. Like, it just never comes up because you're trying to spray the board. And then... Why is that another ability on there? What in the heck?
I've gotten got by that in arena.
I drew shock. It was 1 point short of killing. Because that.
Ooh. What'd you say, Rob?
Said I got by that in arena a few times.
Okay. All right. Question?
Well, right now we just have a lot of chat lethals finally accurate.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not too many questions
Twitch chats,
at the moment.
Even a broken clock's right twice a day. somehow Twitch chat is wrong more often than a broken clock.
If it's a 24-hour clock, it's only right once a day. Same.
Entertain Eater is asking, do you think there's a version of this mono red deck that goes large enough to play Rekindling Phoenix?
It's a card you could sideboard if people are going to like bring out their big removal spells against you because you only have Low to the Grand creatures. Not sure it's better than Frenzy, but
I think we've already determined that there's no way it's better than Frenzy. Like
Yeah.
we've literally evolved the deck in such a way at this point where I have never once wanted Phoenix when I could cast Frenzy. So just gonna throw that out there.
And there you go.
Demi Eyes wants to know, when are we planning on playing modern decks with the new cards?
So we got Standard this week. We got pre-release. The next week's leading into Indie, so we're going to be playing Standard next week. So at the very least, 2 weeks till we hit some Modern.
Yeah, once there's like a Modern Open coming up, there's a chance we like try out some Modern decks with new cards. But
the next Modern Open is the beginning of March.
Yeah, so no. Plus, this new format's sweet.
It's a bit of a break from Modern.
I mean, we played so much Modern last year that honestly, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to it. We might work a little bit in advance of SCG Baltimore, which is team constructed.
Oh yeah,
maybe we'll do a split that week.
Sure. Can I get some lanes?
You know, if you want to see Modern, get a bunch of people to yell at us, and by us I mean Cedric Phillips on Twitter, and then we'll end up playing Modern.
I haven't had a.
But make sure you yell specifically at Cedric.
Oh yeah,
he likes hearing it all the time.
He also loves being tagged on Twitter.
Yes,
he loves it.
Add Joe Ingles pictures to all your tweets, even if it's completely unrelated.
You should also flood his email address.
Yes, and his address. You can send him letters.
Oh yeah,
he lives at
P.O. Box 10108.
Yeah. 123 Fake Street.
No, that's Dick Stickley.
Seattle, Washington.
All right, here's a good one that may be kind of interesting.
Right.
For P-Lynch368, what is the worst mistake you've ever made because you didn't read a card?
I missed multiple attacks with Rampaging Ferocidon in an Invitational because I didn't know it had Menace. That was a bad one. As far as not reading a card, that's the one that most recently comes to mind. But
I'm sure I've done it, but it'll have to come to me. I just don't. I don't recall right now. I have an electrostatic field.
It's pretty good.
I thought so.
At least, Todd, you read The Stubborn Now.
Oh, I knew exactly what the Stubborn Owl did. Don't you forget about it. Yeah, sure.
Adept's pretty good.
First time I draw it. First time for everything.
Tricky boy over there.
Your turn. Probably shouldn't show that one off. But...
Yes.
Ross Scooter wants to know, what's your opinion of steamed hams?
It's an Albany expression.
Is it actually though?
No, that's just a line from The Simpsons.
Right. Okay.
I'm from Utica, and I've
Your
never
turn.
heard of steamed hams.
I love how he just keeps going deeper and deeper, and it just like keeps making up new lies. You know.
Aurora Borealis.
in this economy,
in this part of the country, this time of year, localized entirely within your kitchen. Yes. May I see it? No.
No.
Okay, well, I have a chain roller, which I think is pretty good.
Is there a way for me to counter this? No.
You can dive down your Silvergill.
No,
I'm okay with that.
It's dead.
So you're at 19.
Tap your chain roller EOT. 19. All right. Deep Root Elite. Jade Bear.
Sure.
All right.
Where are the
So
triggers
we got
going?
2 triggers. I'm just gonna put them both here and attack for 4.
With both those triggers in the stack, I'll shock that thing and trigger the field.
Shut up.
You go to 18.
Sure. Go. Am I getting chain roller number 2'd?
Let's see. No.
Yay! May I see it? No. Dude, this Deep Root Elite, is it gonna go off, or are you killing it?
I'm gonna Fiery Cannonade, trigger the field. So you go to 17.
Yikes.
Attack for 3 to 14. Then play land Pyromancer and bring you to 12.
Yikes.
Pass the turn.
Okay. That's good. I mean, I'm really glad I didn't hold up for Spell Pierce, which I have.
This is a fairly aggressive line. Not sure how it's going to work. You got a Lord over there.
Miss Binder. Your turn. And this community speaker is a 2/2. You still can't really profitably interact with that chain roller, which stinks. But here.
Okay, you take 3.
9.
I'll play another Pyromancer. You go to 7.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
You have 1 card?
1 card.
Okay, we'll just play Kumina and say go. Or is that? No, I'm not doing that. We'll play it this. Say go.
So if I draw another burn spell, it's better to wait on this one in case Todd has dive down. But if I brick and I go to kill the Mistbinder, then a dive down would be insane. But I guess I get to attack with Chain Whirler regardless, so I should just wait.
Pretty sure I'm dead. But, yeah.
Attack you for 3.
We'll block.
I have no Vex. I will shock the Mistbinder in response and deal you 1.
Go to 6.
So now this thing's a 2/4
2/4
or 2/5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have an island. Okay, pass.
Okay, I'm at 6.
Yep.
I guess I'll just hold this since it's a Merfolk. Go.
Okay, well, I'm drawing off the top, but Todd's at 6. He doesn't really have any way to start attacking.
True.
So I should be able to just draw enough burn to kill him, or just a million lands in a row.
Yes. Doing it.
How many lands can I draw this time?
I don't know.
I think I've made close to 30 land drops in this match. It's definitely 20. It's about 25, I think, at this point. That's a good card. Like, you turn that Spell Pierce into something real.
Yeah. Just the hope.
Are we adapting? So we got another spell to think about.
Yeah, I do. Another spell to think about.
I've been playing my lands for light up the stage, but when you have risk factor in your deck in game 1, it's important that you might want to hold a 1. That's something I didn't think about. Is there a reason to cast this? So there is an issue with like Todd now being able to start drawing cards. If I go to kill a creature and bring Todd to 5, he probably just lets it happen and I deny him a card. And then
Still at 20, right?
Yes, I am.
Great.
I don't know exactly what is right here. I don't think going for creature is right because Todd basically has no way to get out of burn range, so going upstairs is probably better. So, I don't know. Take 4. Screw you.
Wow.
You're 2.
That is aggressive.
Pass.
You said screw you, but it's skewer you.
Skewer you,
sir.
Yeah. I said skewer. I said screw you.
All right.
Draw a card.
You to you. Draw a card.
Yeah.
I will play a Trickster. Tap.
Shiny boy. That's pretty good. Another good reason for me not to try to set up an attack there is Trickster could have blown up my spot. Okay, 5 cards. Are you thinking about exiling my field?
I'm at 2. Everything kills me anyway.
Gives me a 3/3, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like it makes your attack better.
Okay. I just need to draw a land, and me get pretty lucky here. So
that's Lord would be ideal. Wow. Is it your only Merfolk?
Yep. I will. Oh, I have this, but
okay.
This.
Yep.
Pierce is just worse than Kamina. And I'll say go, and I'll just go for the put a counter on everything plan over the next 2 turns and try to kill him. Oh yeah, we're doing it.
That's the turn.
All right, I'm gonna tap 5 Merfolk and put a counter on all my creatures. This will just teach you. You got to play 4 Frenzy, man. You just got to play 4 Frenzy. It's so good.
You
Oh
gotta
yeah,
put a
I
counter
got a loot as
biomancer.
well. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So
So
loot
I
first,
loot-
resolve the loot, and then you draw for turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's discard this. All right, draw for turn.
Yep. That's a sweet interaction. So we got a bunch of 3/3s, a 3/2, and a 3/5.
All right. Jade Bear counter here.
You're gonna hit the Lord. The Lord is certainly seen enough cards for it.
Is that better than just tapping a creature? Probably not. I guess okay, so Light Up the Stage kills me now, right? Whereas it didn't necessarily before.
Yeah, so does Lava Coil.
Right. Okay, so Merfolk. Was that even better than just holding that to discard to Mythic? Alright, stack was this.
Block.
Okay. Go on upkeep. I'm gonna turn off an electrostatic field. This basically prevents all sorceries from killing me that aren't damage based to the dome. Did you draw Lava Coil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's insane. So I'm at 20. This is currently 3, 6, 8, 9, 12, 16, 19. Even if Todd has a Lord, I can block here. That prevents 4, brings into 15, but this is +6, that gets him to 21. And so I can block Jade Bearer and go to exactly 1. So I'm not dead to I can save both fields even if Todd has a Lord in his hand. So I don't think I'm supposed to Lava Coil right here.
Sure.
I think I'm supposed to just pass. It's a 2-turn clock regardless.
Alright, put a counter.
Oh, you put counters on everything.
Yeah.
So I'm wrong. Oh,
just
so
kill something if you want to kill something. I have enough Merfolk to.
Yeah, and I forgot about Kumena doing that.
Okay.
Because that means that this thing is not surviving this turn. So I have to cast this now.
You can't kill these two, but you can kill any of the other ones.
Yeah, I guess I'll just kill that one or whatever. You take 1. Okay. Forgot about Kumena.
And I'm just doing this on the end step just so for clarity's sake. I'm going to go to 1 because this is turned off.
Yep.
And then I get to loot with the Benthic Biomancer. Pitch a territory.
Yeah, so now I can draw Chain Whirler, another sorcery with this thing, like another Lava Coil or Fanatical Firebrand. Basically, almost any non-land in my deck. Fiery Cannonade.
If I just attack with these two, does that do anything? Oh, if I attack with everything, do you have to block 2 things? I guess that's the question. So if I attack, okay, do you have to
5, 9, 13, 16, 19, 23. So I can actually just block Biomancer and go to 1. Well, this is 5, so I'd go to 2.
Okay.
And I could block. I guess I could block a 3/3 and go to 5.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is awkward. Like now that I've used the Lava Coil, then I can save the field. But if I hadn't used the Lava Coil, I'd be forced to block with it. So.
This is tough.
The key is you need to guarantee that you kill me the following turn if I draw land. So and I'm not sure if you have to attack with Mord in order to do that. So you just want to.
I can't kill you this turn, so there's no reason to swing out, and I'm pretty sure you're dead next turn no matter what.
Yeah, like you're going to put counters on anything, no matter what. So I don't need to do. I mean, whatever. I'll just go to 11.
Go brick.
Don't have the luxury of the Todd knock this time.
I'll do it. Put it there.
No.
Come on. See, the benefit of the Todd knock is that it always goes well whatever I want. So it would have been the land if you had let me knock it anyway.
That's unreal. So many lands.
Yeah. Dude, this is such a good Merfolk matchup. Am I right?
You used all your luck on that light up the stage.
Yeah.
I guess.
Dude, that was sweet games, though. I mean, it's kind of floating out at the end. Sucks. All right. Well, thoughts on your mono red deck? How about that? Let's do that.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I'm able to be very close to winning all these games despite drawing a million lands.
You know what would have beat me basically every game?
What?
An experimental frenzy. At any point, any of the games would have beat me very easily.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that experimental frenzy was literally any spell in my deck, I would have won. So
no, because it would have got you out of the 5 extra lands you drew or whatever.
Sure, but the way it came, what it came down to was just a million lands. Sure, we know frenzy's great.
Yeah,
maybe you want some main deck frenzies. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you want 4.
I think Flame of Kel is pretty good in this version of the deck. So many burn spells.
I mean, that's fair. I just think risk factor, Flame of Kel, these cards are we've tried them out and we've already deemed that they are worse than Frenzy, right? I don't know, the Pro Tour really showed or really put into perspective for me that the only versions of red that did well all played 4 Frenzy. Ever since I've been playing Magic Arena, all my mono red decks have had 4 Frenzy, and every time I try a Flame of Keld risk factor heavier burn version, it just feels worse. Frenzy is just the most busted card that I have played with in a long time, as far as just how it changes the way your deck operates on a fundamental level. And I think it just complements the more burn heavy package with Skewer the Critics and stuff. And
yeah.
It's possible that since you have Skewer the Critics now, you actually just don't have to play Wizard's Lightning. I haven't been a huge fan of the Wizards. You play Get to Lava Runner because it's a 1-drop, right? It has 2 toughness, so it dodges Chain Whirler. But Vashno Pyromancer just kind of stinks. Doesn't really rumble very well. The 2 direct damage is fine or whatever, but it's always worse than Steamkin, or usually worse than Steamkin.
I don't think it's always worse.
The fact that the only thing for me that I ever really wanted for it was when I'm trying to hit anything to burn my opponent out, so it's just a 2-mana deal 2, or it enables Wizard's Lightning. And in some matchups, enabling the Wizard's Lightning will turn it into an attacker, but I don't know. There's a lot to think about, but I think for Frenzy, man, you just got to play them.
That's where I lost that game. I shouldn't have spewed the Skewer the Critics. If I just hold that and I draw the second field, I get an extra point.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. Figured it out.
The more you know.
Punted that one.
It's fine. It's fine. I won.
I didn't feel like holding cards in my hand.
Yeah, why would you? Anyway, from my side of things, the Merfolk deck, I think I'm a little too all over the place as far as the mana is concerned. I think having 1-drops of 2 different colors is just something that you can't reasonably do, because if you don't play them past turn 1, or if you play them past turn 1, the only one that's even good, I think, is Benthic Biomancer. The other one's just a 1-mana 2/2, not great. 1-mana 1/1 puts a counter on something. It's okay. It's synergistic, and yeah, that one's one you don't really want to play on turn 1, but it's good on turn 3 with a 2-drop and a 1-drop.
Yeah. So it's Kumena Speaker. You just want to flood the battlefield because of Kumena. So I like having extra 1-drops. I think the Benthic Biomancer looked really, really strong.
I agree with that.
I was impressed with how you were able to turn games around quickly. So I think this deck has some legs.
I mean, that's fair. It's possible that some of the dive downs and spell pierces you actually want main deck. The Song of Freyalise and some of the Hedonist Climb might be a little too gimmicky. The 4-drops, Herald of the Storm, Seafloor Oracle. At no point did I ever really want them. But in this matchup, it might be because of this matchup.
I don't think Seafloor Oracle is going to do a whole lot. I think the Herald is a good singleton to dig for in matchups where the board clutter is and you're activating Kumena a lot. And if the deck is popular, it'd be great in the mirror. So I think that one is good. I agree with you. I think you want some number of dive down spell pierce main because Benthic Biomancer and Kumena are really important to protect, and the Mistbinder, the Lord.
Yes.
So protecting those 3 cards is really important, and it just lowers your curve a little bit more. I was worried that Mistbinder or that Trickster was going to kind of ruin your mana, and mana was a little wonky, but Trickster was really important. I think it won you both games you won.
Yeah, it's just very good in the early turns of eating 1-power creatures out of red, but also in certain spots, just tapping out Chain Whirler so I can start attacking is huge. I think the Merfolk Trickster is just a great card, and it's definitely worth skewing your mana for a little bit. But this deck is already heavier blue, and it's going to be heavier blue if you play Spell Pierce and Dive Down anyway. So, or at least you want to play more islands, and then you want to put a lot more heavy lifting on unclaimed territory to cast green cards, which means you don't want to play stuff like Song of Freyalise, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Well, I was going to do it for the second match. Let's take like 3 questions, and then we'll take a short break.
All right. Yeah, if we get some more questions in. We had one from Viper P. Todd, why didn't you play Ghost Spiral in the Merfolk deck?
Growth Spiral? So Growth Spiral is not a card that is all that great in a creature-heavy deck. If you remember the card Explore, this is basically just an instant speed version of Explore. Not every deck that was green played Explore. It was a card that was very good with things like Lotus Cobra. It allowed you to do some really degenerate stuff, but more so it functioned in like Primeval Titan decks, or it functioned well in Jace the Mind Sculptor, like Simic-based strategies.
This is also a low land count deck, so it's sometimes hard to actually have the lands to be able to take advantage of the Explorer effect. Yeah.
The reason why I think it's good in the Wilderness Reclamation decks is because even though you're only playing like 24, 23, 25 lands, somewhere in that vicinity, you have a bunch of other things that draw cards. So your overall number of lands in hand at all times is going to be naturally higher than what your 24 mana count suggests. So I think Growth Spiral also just cycling in that deck is also just great. It allows you some more things to do with Wilderness Reclamation, which I like. The fact that you get to like ramp into Wilderness Reclamation is a huge deal. And it sort of fits the overall theme of the deck, which is just playing at instant speed, drawing some cards, hitting a bunch of land drops. So.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do with Growth Spiral.
Yeah. I mean, just because the card is blue-green and you're playing a blue-green deck doesn't mean it belongs in your deck. We're not playing Frilled Mystic in this one, even though maybe it's okay, but I don't know. Anyway, next one.
All right. Fake Based says they're worried about Spawn of Mayhem. The card seems insane, especially when we see cards like Gutter Bones. What are your thoughts on the card?
I was brewing with black-based aggressive decks, specifically mono black, yesterday, in preparation for today, and it seemed to me that the mono black aggro deck is a card short. There's 4 playable-ish 1-drops. We got Gutter Bones, Diagraph Ghoul, which are both quality. You have Vampire Conquistador, which is okay, and then Grasping Scoundrel, which is the weakest of the set, but still does its job as the 4th 1-drop. I think that deck main decks Drill Bit really effectively, so it's kind of like you get 21 drops, and the curve of 1 mana creature into 1 mana creature plus Thoughtseize you basically is very strong, especially when it sets up Spawn of Mayhem. You take the Lava Coil, and then you have Spawn, you have Graveyard Marshal to supplement them, and some removal, but you really need another 2-drop to fill out the curve, and there really isn't one. And
one thing so this isn't the same deck, but this is one we were talking about a little bit, but the Priest of, Priest of Forgotten Gods? Or Priest of the Forgotten God?
Priest of the Forgotten Gods.
Priest of the Forgotten Gods, I think, could be a really cool card alongside the Graveyard Marshal, just because it costs 2 black mana to cast, so sometimes you sacrifice some early things, cast the Graveyard Marshal, and then if you get these like Graveyard Synergy things that generate tokens, which is more fuel for Priest of the Forgotten Gods. The thing is, I'm not sure if you're ever going to lose a game where you get to activate Priest of the Forgotten Gods more than once. If your deck is kind of centered around that, activating it a second time and it being good both times usually means you're going to win the game. So I don't know how much longevity you actually need. But I don't think that's necessarily a mono black shell, but the Graveyard Marshal being so heavy black means that like you need to have a lot of reason to play like heavy black, and with Afterlife being mostly on these like cheap white creatures, I'm not sure yet.
As far as Spawn of Mayhem as an individual card, I think you're overrating it by a little bit. Like the 3 mana 4/4 flyer is a good rate, but it doesn't get any immediate value when it enters the battlefield. Lava Coil is a super popular removal spell in the format, so within context it looks a little bit worse. And we're able to answer creatures like that. Sure, it functions more like a 5 power flyer for 3 because you deal 1 every turn. I don't think it's going to get +1/+1 counters that often. So it's mainly just going to be
when both players are at 10 or less life?
No, when you are.
When you are?
Okay. Yeah, if it counted them, it would be better, I think. But still not by much. Like, once they're under 10, the difference between 4 and 5 is often not much.
It still pings every time, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's more like a 5/4 flyer.
Yeah.
which is not bad, and especially for 3 mana if you can turn it on. But I mean, Lava Coil has seen a lot of play over the last 4 months because you just need to be able to deal with Crackling Drake. You need to be able to exile things, and with that being one of the more popular cards, the reason for playing Lava Coil becomes even like more apparent, and it really showcases why a lot of these creatures just get kind of forgotten about.
Yeah. Well, I view Spawn of Mayhem as a card that doesn't have a great home. I think it's specifically good in the mono black aggro deck at the top of that deck's curve, and that deck's not quite there. Maybe with another set, it gets one more card and becomes good enough. That often happens with decks like that, more linear decks. But it doesn't really fit that well into the Rakdos aggro deck. I don't think it's as powerful as Judith, for example.
I agree with that. Judith is
and some of the other options. You have to be sort of base black, which isn't the worst. Black has 2 solid 1-drops if you want to play Diregraph Ghoul and Gutterbones. Maybe there's like a Priest Shell that plays Gutterbones and does something with it, but I think that'd be worse than the Rakdos deck I featured earlier today. So I wouldn't be too worried about that card. It's solid, but I don't think it really has a home right now.
All right, one more.
Axel MTG, do you expect Golgari to adapt to the new meta? And if you do, how long do you think that will take?
I mean,
I guess just for mid-range decks in general.
Sure. I mean, we saw pretty clearly last standard format that Golgari can completely change how it operates within days, not weeks, days. There was a point in time where a PTQ happened. The winner was playing like 7 Planeswalkers or something, and then by Wednesday of the next week, everyone was playing like 3 or 4 Midnight Reaper in the main deck, because it's so good in the mirror match and against Jeskai Control. And Jeskai Control is cropping up pretty heavily in order to kind of contain these Planeswalker-heavy versions and really punish you for not playing Carnage Tyrant. A few weeks later, we have Carnage Tyrant just being at the top of the curve. Vraska,
Golgari
6
Queen?
mana.
Oh, Relic Seeker.
Vraska Relic Seeker basically just ceasing to exist because Carnage Tyrant just needs to fit at the top of this curve. And it's just infinitely customizable. And now you have perfect mana, right? We've unlocked perfect mana to play 3 colors. Yes, you have to take a little more shock land damage. Yes, sometimes your lands enter battlefield tapped because of the check lands, things like Drowned Catacombs and such. So if you want to splash a color for, let's say, Negate or Distasteful Stroke or something like that in order to help fight
Bedevil.
Yeah, or Bedevil. If you want to splash one of these cards, it's going to cost you against the aggro decks. So finding the trick is always going to be for these decks is finding a good enough reason to splash the 3rd color, and also figuring out if it hurts you or if it doesn't hurt you as much as you think it might against the hyper aggressive decks. Like if a land ever entering the battlefield tap means you lose. If an extra shock land any game means you lose, maybe you don't splash. Maybe it's just not worth the splash.
Yeah. As far as Golgari adapting to a new metagame, I mean, it'll take a week or 2 for the metagame to take a little bit of shape as we figure out what decks are good and what cards are overhyped, and shouldn't take long after that for Golgari to adapt. The shell is already there. We know it's powerful. The mana is there to splash a color for certain cards if you need them. So the question is just giving it the metagame enough time to where you have a target that you can build your Golgari deck to beat. So as soon as it does that, it'll take basically no time for Golgari to do well, and I think the shell is still going to be powerful enough to compete.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I've been kind of throwing around in my brain, just little mini interactions here and there that I want to try. And Golgari specifically, the first thing I want to do is see if like 3 or 4 Reclamation Sage in the main deck is good. I think that Thrashing Bronodon has a larger body, and when the enchantments and artifacts are like splash damage as opposed to being a major factor, something like something like Bronodon is a better choice. But at the moment, like every deck that I look at, other than I mean, even the Is That Drake's deck are like all treasure mapping after sideboarding or main deck search for Scanta, and you just need ways to interact with these really powerful artifacts and enchantments. Reclamation Sage's body not very good. But if you're playing against a white deck, they all have Conclave Tribunal. Blue and red decks all have Search for Escanto Treasure Map.
History of Benalia in the white decks as well.
History of
Red
Benalia.
decks have Frenzy, maybe Theater of Horrors.
Right. The only one that is not good against is the Mirror. So if the Mirror is not really an issue, which I don't think it will be at the first moment, I think main decking a Summoner of Reclamation Sage is good. And then the body on it becomes relevant too if you want to try to play like a Golgari Priest of the Forgotten Gods deck. alongside Gruesome Menagerie. We've seen Gruesome Menagerie in Golgari decks before with things like Stitcher Supplier. And if we can find like 1 or 2 more 1-drops that are really good in the deck, we could see like a hybrid version of like a beatdown deck that plays Pelt Collector as the 1-drop, along with like laurels instead of Stitcher Supplier, because I freaking hate Stitcher Supplier. But if you have like the Priest of the Forgotten Gods, all you need is bodies. It doesn't matter what they are, as long as they can be sacrificed to the gods. It's okay.
Yes.
And there's a lot of really cool stuff going on right now. A lot of these monocolor cards that are guild themed can be shifted and played in different decks. So I'm just very excited to continue exploring just what all these new cards can do.
Yeah. So Golgari should be good. Give it a couple weeks. I think we are going to go to our break.
Yes.
Take another 10 minutes to set up our third and final match, where Todd will finally be playing Wilderness Reclamation. And I will be playing a Bant, Selesnya Splash Blue Hadana's Climb deck.
Nice.
So we'll come back and check that one out. We'll talk about it when we get back. All right.